Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a special online event today. It's called Experience Deep Clearing EFT to transmute limiting emotions and align with your true presence. My name is Stephen Dyna. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm really thrilled to get to introduce you to a really remarkable teacher. Her name is Mary Tsai. She's an energy psychology pioneer. She's the creator of soul weaving. She's the director of Magdalena Healing, and she's really been at the forefront of integrating modalities that blend the spiritual and the psychological for our liberation. So with that said, welcome to today's program, Mary.
Thank you, Stephen. It's just a joy to be here. And I love the Shift Network. I've always loved the Shift Network. So like to be here is awesome.
Well, we're super excited to have you as well. And we're going to do a deep dive. And I want to let everybody know up front that we are going to have a chance to go much deeper with Mary into a brand new program called Unveil the Power of Your Presence with Deep Clearing EFT. Restore flow, align with your soul, and be a healing force for the world. So, Mary, let's start a little bit of our journey today with a bit on your journey. What propelled you particularly to EFT as a methodology, since you have background in psychology and therapy, and really as a sort of this bridging of our energy systems, our beliefs and consciousness? Why has EFT become, and first of all, explain a little bit what it is, but maybe start with your journey.
So to start with my journey, I really have to start with probably like 30 years ago. I was like a soccer mom with kids and a social worker and like what I thought a relatively normal person, had a cool life going, and all that was working for me until I got a phone call that my sister, who had just delivered a baby, nearly died on the table. And she had a 2-year-old and an infant. And like, I was like, what? And she needed a lung transplant. She actually got 2 of them. And, in Western medicine had nothing. There was nothing they could do except put her on a list and you may die before your lung transplant. And I'm like one of those people, like I'm having none of that. Like, I really think I run the planet often. And so I was really like, we have to find something. So I dove and dragged her with me actually into like alternative kind of treatment, like energy medicine. What is energy? I knew none of this, like, and, it was very interesting. We did really wild stuff. Like we did Reiki and we did law of attraction, and I got her into all this. We even went to those healers that like put their hands over you and spoke in tongues, and she passed out a couple of times. And she had this like little prayer, and her little prayer was, please let me live long enough that my children know me. And I was having none of that prayer. We were going to heal this thing, and that's just not happening. So I would, kind of drag her around, and we would go to these things. And that's really how I got into this whole energy thing. And then sure enough, 10 years to the day, she died. And I was just devastated. I was like, what? Like, we were praying, we're doing all the things you're supposed to do you create your own reality stuff, And I was just, that really took me down. And that really brought me on to a search of what's going on this planet. What are we doing? Why do people die? She had babies, she had children, like I had children, like there was just too much. And at the same time, I'm working with clients as a therapist, and I'm working with multiple traumatized clients, like really traumatized clients. At the time, we called it multiple personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder. And I was finding that talking in Western psychotherapy was making them a lot worse. Flashbacks, nightmares, like that wasn't going. So my prayer there was like, oh, please don't let me make somebody worse. Don't let me do anything wrong. And it was from there that I learned about EMDR and eye movement therapy. That was weird. And then I heard about energy psychology, where they're tapping on meridians. And I thought, this is super weird. And it was back in the 90s, like nobody knew. I mean, I didn't know a meridian from anything. And yet it began to work for my clients. And my clients got better. The flashbacks stopped, the nightmares stopped, the phobias stopped, and they kept getting better. We didn't know anything about the brain, how it gets programmed, how anything is, but clinically, people just started to get better. But that's how I actually got into it, and then began to learn energetically that it's not so much like what you think, while that's important, it's really what's the energy that's in there. And then from the spiritual perspective, how powerful we are to transmute energy and the energy that's in your beliefs and what's in your subconscious. And so it's really, my work over the last 30 years has been just combining all this with amazing success. But that's how I got into EFT. It was just like, I don't know, but it works. You know, it was kind of just...
Well, let's talk a little bit more about it. First of all, how it works, and then we can start to go into a little bit of the mechanism, because you've really taken it to a very sophisticated level. It's just, sometimes there's the stereotype of all you just do is tap in one place, and everything magically goes away. But there's a science behind it. There's a sequencing.
Yeah. So now what we know versus what we knew back then, which was zip, is in Eastern medicine, they have different emotions that go with different organs in the body and different meridians in the body. And so, and this will make sense for you, because like most of us know, when we're anxious, we feel it in our stomach. And so the originator of it, Roger Callahan, what he found, and he used muscle testing, applied kinesiology, was with meridian theory. And that if you tap here, which is one of the places where stomach meridian comes close to the body, what would happen is it would free this up. And we know people who are angry all the time often have heart problems or liver. And so if you tapped here, which is where the heart meridian is, and you could help people, the emotional component of that. You can find the emotional component. So what Roger Callahan figured out was, if you have somebody talk about their trauma or what it is, you activate it, and then you're using the meridian system, the different points, in order to, he would say, collapse the disruption in the thought. And then there's a series of eye movements that many people have dropped out of the current versions of tapping. But my experience, when you add those eye movements, you're really going to up your success, because we know that the brain has neural paths and things like that now. And we know that if you move your eyes around, or you close your eyes and open them in different eye movements, it lights up different parts of the brain. We can see it now. And that's what would happen with the trauma. And the people would say to me, I can't see it anymore. It's further away. It's not upsetting me anymore. And and that's now what the brain scans and what everything is showing, that the brain is actually different once you do it. We didn't have that 25, 30 years ago.
If you can link this a little bit with some of the psychological work of sort of reintegrating different parts of ourselves that might have been traumatized, since I know that's part of what you do that perhaps goes to a deeper level than a lot of people do with tapping.
One thing I realized is the more I did it, I mean, first my clients were really traumatized, like totally fragmented out. And then they were integrating, and then I realized we all have fragmented parts. We all have parts of us that we left somewhere in our childhood, or because it's really easy to do when you're a child. And some of that's because of the brainwaves and the imagination, and what parts of the brain are online under the age of 7, and then what parts come on later. So, I mean, we all, when I work with people and we trace the energy back, sometimes you end up like in 3rd grade and you were reading something and the class laughed. And so now you can't do public speaking, or you were ridiculed, and especially if there's any kind of violence to the body, or car accidents or things like that. Those things, there's part of you that gets left behind there, we could say. And then you go through life feeling like empty inside, like there's some part of something's missing. I can't, or you say you want to do something, and there's another aspect of you, usually a child part, that's saying, no, that's not me. That's not safe. Don't do that. And how it shows up for people is it's like you have a foot on the gas and a foot on the brake. You just can't, you're being called to something, you want to do something, but you just can't get all of you on board. Almost like if if kids, you've got one kid, no, I want to go here, I want to go there, how that far the car goes in peace, it doesn't work. Or it's like a car with 3 wheels, like it one wheel's not going and you can't seem to make progress. That's when you have an aspect of yourself that's not on the same page with you, or isn't programmed that that's who you are, or something bad will happen.
So how do you use tapping then to begin to like dissolve some of that separation where part of you is like splintering off or at loggerheads with other parts of you?
So I always start with what's going on currently for you. So somebody comes into me or they want to work on this belief, and so I have you access, okay, what is it? What's I always say, what's knocking you off your meditation mat? You know, we're all like kumbaya on it on our meditation mats and we're all high and enlightened, and then you go home or something and you know that falls apart. Okay, so like what's triggering you? And then we feel that in the body, and then we can do some tapping on that. But then oftentimes if that's not quickly working, what I do is I'll have you trace it like an energy, a link. Where did you feel this way before? How old do you feel? And inevitably it'll pop in your head. And then we integrate that part to here in a process that I do. So basically, I always start with what's happening today, because it's like what's hot for you right now, you know, and then that will link back somewhere. Usually under the age of 7 is usually where I find it, or it's somewhere where you're stuck in a trauma, really stuck in a trauma, and you had to. Because when a trauma happens, there's a part of you that goes forward, and there's a part of you that like, oh my God, no, this can't be happening. And so that's where you're really in two realities a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really interesting. I love the sort of integration of some of the parts work with the tapping and the meridians, because it seems like there's a lot of overlays here or layers to the onion that you're sort of peeling back with the investigative work. So it's not just like a surface symptom, like, oh, I'm upset, and you just tap that away. It's like you're really sort of diving deep into what's sort of the root system underneath the surface symptom.
Exactly. Like. And those are the things that I've integrated into tapping, took some of Callahan's concepts and then added an intention statement in there, because he actually originally had intent. I wish to be over this problem. I will be over this problem. He used to test you for that and then test the meridians. I just changed it and put in the roots and origins of it, because your divinity in a physical form. And I think all your listeners know that. That's not news. Okay. It might be news on the planet, but it's not for probably your people. But you command energy. And so when you tell the energy, go get the roots and origins on this, it has to do it unless you block it. And that's where the parts work comes in. That's why sometimes people will say to me, well, oh, I did tapping, but it doesn't work. And I'd say, well, what kind of tapping did you do? And what it is, it's not that the tapping doesn't work. There's a part of you saying no, you see. And energetically, Callahan would say your energy is reversing on getting to zero or on something. And then you just have to just work with the parts, and it's easy.
And it sounds like there's a philosophy underneath where all the different parts of ourselves have intrinsic divinity. So we're not trying to like just jettison them or orphan them or get rid of them.
You can't. Where are you going to send them? I don't want your parts. I got enough of my own problems. You can't. They're your energy. You can't. It's linked to you. It's like sometimes they'll talk you. Everyone has a signature energy. So every word I say, everything I put out is mine. Eventually it's coming back. But you have a part stuck in your childhood or believing that you're unworthy, or who do you think you are? You know, all the stuff we got programmed. And that's you. Where are you going to send her or him? It's impossible. And we know what you resist will persist. And eventually it'll get so loud that it'll take you to your knees. Like that's what happened to me. My arrogance or my thinking I ruled the planet, which frankly, I thought I did quite well. It took me to my knees because it wasn't, I don't. And I had to feel safe about that. I had to, and now the work that I do, it's not out of, I have to fix anything so that I can be safe in my home or safe. It's aligned with my soul. The higher energy can work through me because I'm more of a clear vehicle. Why? Because I got all that other junk out of there. Make sense?
Yeah. So it sounds like there's a kind of differentiation when you say get the junk out of there. It's more of like some of the belief systems that create the fragmentation and separation.
Yeah. It's the energies that hold it in place. Unworthiness, doubt, jealousy, betrayal, you name it. Anger, rage, violence. Some of us have violence that somebody put in us. And we'll talk about how the energy in the program, we'll talk about how the energy gets put in us by things that people say to us. A child's field is so open. I mean, you have little kids, their field is so open. Everything that's going on can come into them. And their brain isn't like developed enough to be able to discern. That's not till about 7. And it all comes in. And so they have mom's worried, dad lost his job. They have all these, you have these energies in you. Some of them aren't even yours, but you do have the power to keep them or to transmute them. Once they're transmuted, then you remember who you are.
So in the real time, then you would notice a trigger, and then that's your opportunity to start using the EFT and the tapping to start to kind of go back into the layers of it. Do you find is it best to have a guide or a facilitator or a therapist, or can you really do that effectively on your own?
There's so much here. This is really interesting. There's so much you can do on your own. However, I will tell you, the research is now showing that when you tap in a group for an hour, okay, your cortisol level drops 43%. If you tap by yourself, it goes down half of it. So there is something that happens in the power of a group. And I've been actually running these big groups of 40, 50 people every week for free. I did them for the pandemic, and I'm really kind of addicted to them, doing them because I'm having so much fun. Everybody taps, everybody's got the same issue. And the healings are like so fast, and if people are freed up, and it's phenomenal. And I'm so used to working one-on-one, Steve, and I never did groups like this before. It's phenomenal. So that's the benefit of working with a group. Or if you're going to work with somebody, it's always best to work with somebody that's already healed what you're working on. Otherwise, they're in the same vibration as the problem. So, if it's like, I would always say, it's like going to a priest for marriage counseling. Really? You think he knows anything? Like, give me a break. You live with them. But anyway, so it's like you want to go with somebody who's ahead of you, whose vibration is higher than you. So always make sure that, because you can go higher than your therapist, or she's good on something and helped you, but now you beat her on this one and it's like not working anymore. Don't stay there. That's energy. That's vibration.
I think we could just keep diving into the theory behind this, but I think now would be a good time to transition into having you lead a more extended practice where you take people through a sequence of working with something that might be triggering in the present and peeling back the layers to really get at the core reintegration that's required.
Okay, great. All right, good work. Take a breath, everybody. And just bring yourself into your physical body. Really feel your physical body. Tapping, energy work, it doesn't work. Even talk therapy doesn't work if you're not here. So be in the body. All right. And now I want you to bring to mind somebody that really either aggravates you or scares you, or a situation, a relationship. Could be your ex. It could be a political figure. It could be your mother-in-law, your coworker. Bring somebody's energy toward you and imagine they're standing in front of you. Maybe they're judging you. And just notice what happens in your body. You're always going to be in the body. This agitation, this fear, this energy that comes up. Then maybe anger, you want to rip their face off. Just notice it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 means I'm like really freaking out here, I'm having a panic attack, or Jesus, I'm going to punch him. Just rate it, just so we know whether it's moving. Got it? Feel it in the body and give it a number. Now open your eyes, make sure you're with me. Okay. So we're going to come down 3 inches and over 3 inches. This is a neurological drainage spot on the body, a lymph spot. Okay. So come down 3 inches like a pledge of allegiance, but you're going to rub on both sides and push hard so that you'll feel it. It'll be like, ooh, that hurts, or it's a little bit tender, especially if you've been drinking coffee and eating wheat. Do both sides. Yeah, that's it. Stephen, come out a little bit more. Yeah. Right there. And rub. Okay. And the first thing you want to do is just accept it. So even though I want to rip his face off, or even though I hate him, or this brings hate up in me, of course, those holy people, we don't like to admit we have hate. Let's just acknowledge it. Who cares? You don't have to, you can, it's best to say it out loud, just so your voice, but Stephen, you don't have to. Okay. So even though this is really aggravating me or scaring, this person scares me, I accept myself. So even though there's anger in me, there's fear in me, there's jealousy in me, what is it? Just notice, and I accept myself. You just accept this energy is in you. It's not a big deal. It's not who you are. Even though this person scares me or upsets me or betrayed me or whatever, I accept myself. So you want to say that 3 times and as you're rubbing that spot. Now we're going to tap here on the side of your hand. This is a small intestine meridian. And Dr. Callahan found that this is where if you say a statement here, this will get your batteries in straight. So you get more of you on board. So it's all a polarity thing, which I'll explain to you in the course. So just say this: I'm choosing to release this anger, hate, terror, whatever the energy is, sadness, whatever, grief, all the roots and origins of it, and all that it means and does to me. So by that, we're sending the origin, we're getting to the origin of it. So I'm choosing to release this energy, all the roots and origins of it, and all that it means and does to me. And you may begin to notice when you say roots and origins that, oh my gosh, this person reminds me of my dad, my mom, my first grade teacher, whatever. I'm choosing to release this energy, whatever it is, hate, anger, rage, self-loathing, pick something, all the roots and origins of it, and all that it means and does to me. So you say that 3 times. Now we're going to tap on the meridian points. You're going to tap here where your eyebrows start. And many of you who know EFT now know these points, and the side of your eyes. Each one of them go to different meridians and go associate with different emotions. Under your eyes, under your nose, and under your lip. Right here at your collarbone. Now, this is as if you had a skinny tie on. You're going to tap on either side of it. And I would use all 4 of your fingers because you'll get more bang for your buck. It won't hurt you. Hands, I take them in fists and tap about 4 inches down now, like right there. Yeah, and poke around. That one's usually tender. That's your spleen meridian. And that goes oftentimes with terror. Like if you're really afraid of somebody when you're a kid, then your hand's like a laser and tap way at the top of your head, like in this, right in the middle of your head. This one's dorky looking, but there's meridian points in all the fingers. And this is an actual very powerful spot on the body. Okay, so that's the tapping. Now take your hand and go between your ring finger and your little finger. There's a soft area here and tap there. And I like to put my hand on the body. Kind of keeps me centered in the body. Now is when we're going to move your eyes around. So you're going to keep your head straight, close your eyes, and then open your eyes. Keep your head straight, look down to the floor in one way, and then down to the floor in the other direction. Keep tapping, your head is straight, and now look all the way around the room, all the different, make sure you get everywhere around, and then go in the opposite direction. And each one of these things is lighting your brain up in a different way. And it shows that the brain changes even. Now we're going to hum. This is the dorky part too, but humming will put you in the right hemisphere and counting will put you in the left hemisphere. So we're going to hum a tune because it's more right hemisphere. Like just go, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then hum again. The interesting thing about humming now is they're showing that that calms the vagus nerve, which is a lot of where the research is going right now. And they're also showing how some of these things are calming down the vagus nerve for people. Okay, now back to tapping. So eyebrows, looks like a sandwich. The side of your eyes. And then under your eyes. Under your nose. And your lip. Here at your collarbone. Under your arms, 4 inches. Hands like a laser at the top of your head. All right, now take a deep breath for your body. And then bring to mind that person or event or thing or whatever. And I want you to notice, did it get more intense? Like sometimes it can get worse. Like you start with sadness and now you want to rip their faces off. Or now you started with anger and now you're sad. Or like it can get worse. So just so you know, did it get worse? Did it get better? Or did it stay the same? And notice your body, because your body will give you the clue. Stephen, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing well. I felt like it was interesting. There's a certain political figure that I was using, and it tied back to a bully who had kind of punched me in the arm a lot in seventh grade choir. Whenever time I would sing and kind of shut down my voice, and so it was interesting. I never made that connection before.
Yeah. And then when you linked it, now go back and look at the event in seventh, or what were you in seventh grade? Or you said
seventh grade, yeah.
Yeah, go back and look at your seventh grade self. See him there in the choir. More intense, less intense. What are you noticing?
That's just like a little wave of sadness. There's sort of a sweetness and an innocence that I feel like I kind of lost some contact with them.
Okay, so now walk in. Here's what I usually do. So now walk into that room, the you of today. Just go up to him. What do you want him to know?
Just comes. I want you to know that you don't need to bully somebody else to feel better.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with you. Tell him there's nothing wrong with you. Tell him, come on, let's get out of seventh grade. Let's get out of junior high. It's over. That's about the only good news you got for your part of you. Any part of you that's still in junior high, get him out of there. So just tell him, come on, you want to get out of here? And then imagine just walking out of junior high. Walk out the front door of your junior high. And actually, before you do that, I would say something to the bully with your voice, like show him, yeah, you got issues, man. Like whatever, or I'm out of here, and then walk out. So use your voice so that your voice opens again. And then walk out.
You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. And then take yourself out of there. Walk out of there with that younger you. Grow them up. Tell them, look how life turned out. Man, wait till you see what we're doing now. Show them you've got married, you've got kids, you've got the shift network. Like, man, like you're famous. You got a car, you got a credit card. You're like totally cool. Junior high is over. The best thing we could tell any part of ourselves is junior high is over. Now bring them, okay, close your eyes for a minute. I want you to bring them all the way up to today. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and tell him, look out my eyes and just see where I am today. Take a breath for your body now. Tell me what you notice.
It's kind of a feeling of deeper relaxation of my shoulders, and it's kind of a settling into a more relaxed place.
Yep. Like more full, more whole. Does it feel like that? Yeah. That's because this part was still, the energy of it was stuck there. Now this part's here. Okay. More power. You have your power back. Your voice should come back. And we could do another round of tapping right there. So, but take a breath. I don't know if you'll even need it. Take a breath. Is there something you want him to know that we could tap in? Because you can tap in good stuff now too.
You're safe now.
You're safe, man. Yep. You're safe. That's over. That time. Sometimes the only thing we can tell them at that time is over. I've got you. Because you had to like split it off. What were you going to do? Fight back with the guy? He'd pummel you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're safe. It's safe to be you. So here's how you strengthen a belief. So we took down the other, or whatever. We weren't doing really beliefs. We took that down, but let's strengthen back now his power and his voice and his sense of safety. Okay. So breathe in your body. So I'm trying to think, what we're going to say is accepting. So crossover, we'll just make something up. Do this, Stephen. And this is for everybody. Just now program in what you want. So even though I might not totally believe I'm safe yet, I accept myself, because this part of you might be a little doubting. So even though I'm not quite sure about this weird stuff, I accept myself. Even though I'm skeptical, because why? Because we don't want to be duped again. I accept myself. You know, who wants to be duped? You thought this guy was okay, or whatever you thought, you know what I mean? Especially if you were duped. Tap here. I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from knowing that I'm safe now.
I'm choosing to release anything blocking me from feeling safe now.
All the root, and I have power, and I am powerful.
And I have power, and I am powerful.
I have my power back. I can use my voice now.
I can use my voice now.
Oh, I'm sorry, all you people at the shift. It could be a rough day tomorrow, but all the roots and origins of it. Oh my God, I'll be getting a phone call from his wife later. What'd you give him his voice back for? All the roots and origins of it. And all that it means and does to me. So it's pretty much what you're saying now is I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me from this. All the roots and origins of it and all that it means and does to me. This is for everybody. So pick something you want and then release anything that's blocking you from the full expression of you. You're fully in your power with your voice and all the roots and origins of it and all that it means and does to me. Okay, let's go quick. We'll go fast. Eyebrows. And so now you're just going to tap that in. Now you're just activating the meridian system to quiet down the whole nervous system side of your eye, under your eyes, so that that part fully integrates under your nose, lip, collarbone, under your arms 4 inches. Hands like a laser at the top of your head. And then the back of your hand. And close your eyes and open them. Look down one way, look down another way. Big circle one way. Go in the opposite direction. Cool. Hum. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hum. Okay. And a quick round of tapping. Eyebrows, side of your eyes, under your eye, under your nose, and your lip, collarbone, under your arms. Hands like a laser at the top of your head. All right, now deep breath. Go back and tap into that 7th grade scene. Can you even see it? Does it feel closer, further away, more intense, less intense? What do you notice?
Yeah, it feels further away, less intense.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of like a mild trauma, we could say. Imagine if you were in a car accident. Imagine if you got somebody who was violent with you and you can't get out of that, you know? So, and then feel your body now. Now, here's where I would expect to see it. And here's what I would check if I were you. So you might be really good at talking with nice people, but when somebody gets a little bit agitated or bullyish, your voice closes up. So what I would expect, if that's an issue, I don't know, but say you came to me and that was your issue. So then we won't know it's over till it's over. So it would just be easier for you to just say, no, that's not happening, or speak up more, or you'll be fully in your power. You won't be in 2 worlds. That's what I would expect to see.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is really, I mean, first of all, it's very helpful personally for me. So thank you for that. And it's very interesting just in terms of the pattern. And so I want to kind of step back a little bit and just understand the sort of the cycling that you're doing. Like you're sort of going through the whole sequence again and then doing the eye motion. So what is it that why is this sort of cycling multiple times through there?
Well, first you want to take down the contracted, like the terror from what you had there. That's why you always got to get that energy first transmuted before I can build up the positive thing, like your power. Okay. A lot of times what people want to do is they just want to go for building a power, but it doesn't work because you've got this part back here that's freaking out. You see? So I like to take that down. And usually if I'm doing beliefs, I take down, and which is a lot of what we'll do in this course, take down the negative belief, then we put in the positive belief, and then we can reprogram you. And these are using all the meridian points. Some go with anxiety, some go with shame. Maybe you're embarrassed then, but by using all of them, we don't have to go through multiple rounds. We get it on that. And the eye movements break up the trauma. Because when that happened, you got a shock to the brain. So the brain
like a freezing in your system, and when your eyes
exactly, that's the important
unfreezes things.
That's the important of the eye movements. Yep.
And it's interesting. So you're saying it's pretty much the same kind of tapping sequence to program in something new as it is to dissolve the energy of the old.
The sequence is the same. The work is to figure out what's the energy in there. Like really go in your subconscious and find the energy. And oftentimes, just like yours, where it's stuck just shows up like, oh my God, I'm still in my living room in the old house. Like people will say, so now I know I was under 7, or I know I was this, or in junior high. We're all stuck in junior high somewhere where you got laughed at or bullied, or which is why bullies would bother you now. Because it's triggering that can be healed. Now, that doesn't mean that someone who acts like a bully, no matter where they work, are going to be your best friend. It's just you won't react. You will be able to take action. Totally different. And when you do take action, it won't seem too intense to the rest of the world. So it'll work. It'll be soul action rather than reaction out of your wound action. And that's why you become more powerful on the planet. Because people can hear it in a different way. And you watch, the influence will shift.
Great stuff. Well, I so appreciate the way you work, Mary, and it's also you get a great sense of humor that really makes it lighter. And there's actually, I think, a method to your sense of humor as well. Is like there is a way of like holding it all in a space of love rather than there's like a tightness around it.
Exactly. That's because I know who you are. I know your light. I know your divinity in a form because I know that about me. I know that about everybody. So how can we not laugh? It's like, okay, yeah, this stuff happened. I'm not saying it was great. Let's get it cleaned up and then get all of you here so you can be the light that you came to be. I know you as soul. It's because I don't doubt that I'm soul anymore. Or I have to run the joint. God, I wasn't doing a very good job. That prayer, oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. That one, the St. Francis prayer. Mine used to be, oh Lord, make me an instrument of your peace in an advisory capacity. Really, Mary? Anyway, you clean up all your stuff. You just have to walk on this planet. You'll make a difference, a big difference.
Beautiful. Well, Mary, the proof of your work is really in the results that you get with so many people. And I know that people flock to your work, and it's just, there's a level of sophistication, integration, and multiple tools and perspectives that's really so helpful here. So I want to spend a little time talking explicitly about your upcoming program. And, at the Shift Network, we really exist to help people change and evolve and become their full divine selves and express that in the world. And I think this is what Mary has created is a very unique and very powerful synthesis of tools that can help you do that. So the program she's going to be teaching is called Unveil the Power of Your Presence with Deep Clearing EFT. Restore flow, align with your soul, and be a healing force for the world. So the intention for you is right in there, is like to reintegrate all of you so that you can be in a flow state and then really direct your full soul presence into the world as the healing force you can be. So you can find the program laid out in detail at Deep Clearing EFT, just the letters EFT.com, deepclearingeft.com. It draws from different psychological understanding, tapping. You don't have to have a background in any of it. Mary's really going to lay the foundations for you, allow you to take this journey, understand tapping in a new way, some of the psychological work, the spiritual work, understanding how it all kind of integrates into a deeper understanding of your energy and belief systems and how you can shift them. So, Mary, I'd love for you to, first of all, give us a broad overview of like why take this journey with you, and then I'll call out the module titles and give us a sneak preview of what's coming.
Yeah, for me, why to take this is so that you can answer the calling of your soul and be loyal to your soul. Because you will not be the same person after this course. That if you do this course, first of all, expect to be triggered. That's not really a selling point, but I'm just telling you, you will be. Your stuff's going to come up and you will have the capacity to clear it and then be able to step into your role on the planet without the reaction, or you'll be acting out of your soul's role rather than out of your wounds and out of what happened to you. So for those of you, and I know if you're on the Shift Network, this is you, because you came here for something. It is a fast track, and you will have it to use for the rest of your life to help you be in alignment and focus your light.
Well said. Beautiful. So module 1, uncover the real you. What's going to be happening there?
Okay, so in that one, we're just gonna I'm gonna tell you how not all the stuff I know, but much of the stuff I know about how your soul came in the first place, why you picked your parents, and you're gonna totally make a sense of a lot of things. So you're not gonna feel a little crazy. So we get on the same playing field. Here's who the real you is, and then we're gonna start even working there on how to clear some of the programming you got. So even there, I'm going to teach you some of that, but then we're going to get going on some of the programming, the early programming, and really visualizing who would you like to be by the end of this course.
Module 2, using energy psychology to reprogram yourself. Yeah,
now we're going to look here at the brain and how your brain got programmed, why you're like that. Because the big thing, there's nothing wrong with anybody. You got programmed like by people who were unaware. None of us, landed in some enlightened household. We got programmed. So why and how come that is, and then show you how to start to reprogram yourself more.
Module 3, the energetics of abundance.
Okay, so this one's a cool one because we can't do much if we're worried about money or time or abundance, scarcity, if we have scarcity thinking. So we're going to look at what were your beliefs about abundance, and we're going to go deep into your subconscious. This is where we're diving. We're going in, we're going to find out, what did you learn about money, abundance, and all the beliefs about that. We'll have a lot of fun digging them up. Then we're going to choose some that you're going to start to transmute, take those down, and then put in some healthier ones.
Module 4, identify and release energetic blocks.
This is a cool one because we're going to talk about just like the blocks that come in, the parts of you that start to come in and block you from going ahead, like your fear that your relationships might have to change, your fear that who will I be? I'm not supposed to be that. It's not even safe for me to change. So we're going to look at what are the most common of those. You'll be able to identify yours, and then you'll shift those.
Module 5, the energetics of relationship.
Now, this one's really cool. So we're also going to, by the way, move beyond EFT. I have some other techniques I'm going to show you. We're also going to add chakras along the way so we can clean up from there. But this one is all about relationships. What did you learn about relationships? Men never stay with me because my dad left, blah, blah, blah. We're going to look at some of that stuff. And then we're going to start clearing the energy that's in that and program in some healthier relationships. So your relationships can be more harmonious, and with your kids or your partner or your colleagues, and they're just smoother and loving, and you keep your heart open. We're going to talk about where you left your heart. We'll do a whole piece on that. Like, oh my God, I left my heart over here, over there. And then we'll clear that.
Module 6, the energetics of your lineage.
This one's really fun because now we're going to go into your lineage. And so if you grew up Italian, what were the rules? If you were Irish, what were the rules? If you were and we go into your lineage, and you're going to dig in there and see how that impacts you on a real subconscious level in how you play life. It's really fun if I could get you in all different groups with your lineage buddies on the call, but I don't know if I could do that, but honest to God, you'll have some good laughs, and then we'll clean that up.
And finally, module 7, become a healing presence for the world.
Yeah, once, as I said, you've taken and you release the energy that's in there, that's not you, the shame, unworthiness, terror, violence, hate, anything that's in you that's not you. You begin to vibrate higher and more powerfully in a good way. Because some of us can vibrate really powerfully in a messing things up way, in a negative, we could call negative way, but you'll be able to be more of a light. And then we're going to look at what are the qualities now that we want to really amp up for you, and how does healing really happen? And so we'll begin to start into that, but I'll give you some things that we can begin to amp up into. Many of these qualities are dormant in us. And so how do I make them grow? And you want to think of yourself like a cork under the water. Once you start freeing yourself up, you have to go up, because that's who you are as a soul. So it's just natural and it's easier. Life will get easier. And when you run into something, you're going to know what to do with it.
What a great course that you've created. We're super blessed to have this. And I just really feel like you're unlocking these deep codes that have been preventing us from expressing our full selves. And so again, you can see all the detail laid out at deepclearingeft.com, Deep Clearing EFT. So not only you get these 7 90-minute sessions with Mary, which includes practice time, there's going to be interactive time, group time, and there's going to be recordings of every sessions, both video and audio, as well as full word-for-word transcripts to work with, study, and highlight. There's also weekly exercise and practices to do at home and a Facebook community to deepen your experience. On the page at deepclearingeft.com, you'll also see a number of great extra bonuses. There's a video teaching from Mary on polarity disruptions and neurological disorganization demystified, really going deep into some very interesting areas. There's an energetic impact of beliefs on your intentions, which is a PDF chapter from her best-selling Energy of Belief book. And I know you're really particularly excited, Mary, about this session with your spiritual teacher, Saima, a group Magdalena energy healing. Want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is the best bonus I could give anybody. Her Holiness Saima is my guru, my teacher. And I was sharing with Ma, could I do a group session for you? Like in other words, energetically, am I even strong enough? Should I have the teachers in our program do it with me? Should I have all the initiated Magdalenas do it with me? And when I was communicating with Ma about that, Ma said, I'll do it with you. So those of you that are in this program, and it'll probably be sometime during the program, I have to coordinate it with Ma, you will have a remote energy session as a group, and we'll have a whole way of doing that for you from a living enlightened master. And the energy will serve you. It has its own intelligence. The Magdalena healing energy is all about balancing the masculine and feminine aspects within you, balancing the brain, bringing you more into balance. And so it's such a gift that Ma is offering to do this. So yeah, I was so happy. I was like, okay.
Well, that's a great extra blessing to have. So beautiful. Well, that's just adds and deepens the value of the program. And I should also mention there's a special set of bonuses that are available when you sign up right away by midnight tonight. And that's our top 5 selected sessions from our 2021 Energy Medicine and Healing Summit, including a session with Mary, but also Dr. Sue Morter, Dawson Church, Jean Hayner, and Eileen McCusick, all super popular Shift faculty members looking at different aspects of energy medicine and healing to really enhance the power of your journey here with Mary. So what I want to personally say about Mary is that you really get it from just this hour. She's a no BS straight shooter. If she doesn't know something, she says, I don't know it. And if she does it, she really delivers the goods. And it's like she's creates a lot of permission to be you. She's very authentic and very funny. And I think it's really going to create a journey for the whole program of a lot of self-acceptance and acceptance of others. So as you're journeying to reintegrate these different aspects of yourself and reprogram yourself, you're just really coming out more whole and more authentically you. And Mary's just sets a great example of how to do that. So you find all the details on this amazing program at deepclearingeft.com, deepclearingeft.com. And I also encourage you to read through the testimonials because it really is, it's where the rubber meets the road. If people can really help you transform things in your life, that's where you ought to go. So Bill Hanlon says, she's the real deal, honest, no nonsense, and fun to work with. After working with Mary, my life has been completely turned around. That's Miranda, continues to be one of our top rated presenters, and just really, really great stuff from all the people that Mary has helped heal, open, and awaken over the last decades. So Mary, we're at the end of our time, about a minute or two left, and just invite you to share anything you haven't shared in terms of inviting people to go further into this work with you.
I just want to thank everyone for being here. This is such a powerful, critical time on our planet. The planet is shifting. It's happening. And each one of you, before you jumped in, said, I want to be part of that. I'm here for that. And I honor that. And so it is my passion to help you quickly, with as least pain as we can get through, clear what you are not so that you really could step into your role, that your soul is calling you to as the planet shifts. And I would be honored to be your guide in this journey for 7 weeks. So thank you very, very much. And thank you, Stephen, for inviting me to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mary. I just love your teaching style and how radically authentic you are. So thank you all for joining. Hope you really got as much value as I did. I got a lot of personal healing and benefit from today. So, and there's a lot more to come in the upcoming program. So again, you can find all the details at deepclearingeft.com for the Unveil the Power of Your Presence with Deep Clearing EFT. Restore flow, align with your soul, and be a healing force for the world. And don't forget, when you sign up by midnight tonight, you get those 5 extra bonuses from our top-rated speakers at the 2021 Energy Medicine Summit. So thank you all. Thank you, Mary. Many blessings.